How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Normally on Mondays, we have done our Monday morning rundowns. This is a divisional playoff rundown. What we got on tap for today is we are definitely going to talk about the Bills' dominant performance, defeating AFC preseason favorite Buffalo in their house very convincingly. We're also going to talk about the issues in Dallas with Dak Prescott and the untimely turnovers that led to another playoff loss against the 49ers. We're going to divulge into the immediate futures for this week's divisional losers, as well as a look ahead to the conference championship games. 3 of the 4 teams from last year are returning. Oddly enough, the one team that is not returning is the team that won the Super Bowl last year. The Rams were the worst defending champion of all time. That is the ugly side of putting together a super team. With me, my good friend, Mr. Idris I. How you doing, man?
Good Monday. Football, Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah, the East went from 3 teams to 2 in a matter of to 1 rather in a matter of 48 hours. Happened really fast in different ways. One thing I got to say is the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles definitely belong there. Joe Burrow, ice in his veins. He just keeps doing it at the highest level, carrying over his college success. The guy's incredible, and that's where we're going to start. Who dey? Bengals dominate Bills and prove they came to play. The Bengals get a rematch with the Chiefs in the AFC title game. Last year, they overcame an 18-point deficit. What's next for the Bills? Is their championship window closing? We're going to start with the winning team here. Just pure domination. I think what really impressed me was that the Bengals were able to use the weather elements against the home team. Now, these are both teams that are used to playing in this kind of weather. But I just think that what impressed me the most is that it just seemed like the Bengals were comfortable. They were not uptight. They came with a game plan. They knew what they had to execute. They executed it firmly. And in Buffalo's case, you know, you're talking about even prior to a couple of injuries during yesterday's game, they were already down quite a few people. You know, you're talking about Von Miller, who they lost. That was their big offseason acquisition. Obviously, DeMar Hamlin, who's a quality player, is recovering from his heart attack. Good to see him in the building yesterday with his family. Good to see him trending upwards on a road to recovery. But I tell you, man, the losses on defense for Buffalo really came to haunt them. And I feel that even Joe Mixon's presence, in addition to the receivers, it just kind of paced the Bengals offense. Because when you watch the game yesterday, they're both playing in the elements, both defenses. But it just seemed like running backwards, getting traction, staying on your man, affected Buffalo so much more than it affected the Bengals. I also believe that that has to do with Joe Burrow being incredibly sharp. Whereas Josh Allen, quite frankly, he was not that sharp yesterday. He was missing receivers. Timing was off. Now, we all know that he had that elbow injury early that he kind of soldiered through. But this Bengals team, you know, I think as much as I admire Josh Allen's game, and I mean, hell, he helped me win a fantasy championship. He's been a guy that I've drafted the last couple of seasons and a guy that I genuinely like. But I think it's time, at least right now, to consider putting Joe Burrow right up there with Patrick Mahomes and ahead of the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, the Justin Herberts for right now. I think he's earned that.
Yeah, before I start, I want to say, who they think are going to beat them Bengals? Nobody. No, yeah. I love that.
Times have changed, man, for a losing organization.
Who they?
And, you know, Burrow blood is knee in year 1.
You know, man, shouts out to Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
I'm my bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
Shout out to Joe Burrow, LSU Tigers, go Burrow. I'm proud of this cat. No pun intended.
Yeah.
The one thing we saw yesterday with Buffalo and Cincinnati is you have to have a running game in the elements.
Yes.
Joe Mixon, left, right, up the middle. He did what he wanted to do. 170 plus yards on the ground. Joe Burrow, you know who he reminds me of? Because if you look at him, he is he's the train of that. He's the locomotive.
Yeah.
He's winning with an offensive line who is suspect.
3 people that miss.
3 people out. Guess who else won similarly? Eli Manning. Now, I think at his point in his career, he's above Eli right now.
Oh, for sure.
But he is the man. I mean, Joe Cool. He's just,
when you get that nickname, and the guy that was nicknamed before you was Tom Brady before Tom Brady.
Yeah.
That is a big deal. A very, very big deal. Last year, he kept his Bengals in a game against a much more talented, much more deeper Rams team, and damn near got them in field goal range to send that Super Bowl to overtime, which would have been only the second time in league history that a Super Bowl did go to overtime, previously between Atlanta and the Patriots. Greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. This guy, and I've said it on previous shows over the course of the last year and a half, coming off that knee injury, a lot of people around the league, especially Bengals fans, were like, "Oh, here we go again, another quarterback bust." He put in the work. He didn't win Rookie of the Year. That was Justin Herbert because obviously he missed time with the injury. He comes back, does it the hard way, almost loses in Tennessee, gets his ass kicked last year. In that game. They weather the storm. They find a way to win on the road and then go into one of the toughest places where they're going to be, igniting that matchup. Down 18. It looked like the Chiefs were literally just going to walk to another Super Bowl. Yeah.
It was over.
And then it wasn't. Jamar Chase came alive. The defense came alive. I must say this, even though I don't want to. Eli Apple made a pick in that game. Things were just coming along for that Bengals team through and through. You got to start giving the coach credit because he seems to be a coach that frequently gets overlooked, not just in the league, but even in his own division. You got Harbaugh and Tomlin in that division, both Super Bowl winners. And it seems like this guy manages to somehow get overlooked. Zach Taylor is a phenomenal coach. And it's time that this guy starts getting his due. As for the Bills, they went through a lot. Yeah. Not just on the injury side of things.
Emotionally.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I said this to Brett. I said this to other people on the show over the course of the last few weeks. This Bills team was not playing good football pretty much since you got to track it back over a month now where they haven't put together a full, complete performance. I mean, I didn't think they played well in the New England game. They certainly weren't looking too hot in the first Bengal game.
Or the first Miami game.
Round one against Miami, they were very fortunate to advance. They really were. And moving forward, the Bills have a lot of questions. And, you got to beg to question this. Is their Super Bowl window closing with the emergence of the Bengals becoming a real player now? You've got the Chiefs, who are always there. And you have a couple of AFC teams that in a year or two could really be on the rise. We're talking about the New York Jets. We're talking about the Los Angeles Chargers. We're talking about some other teams that may very well be legitimate players. The Chargers, if you take away some of those injuries this year, I'm still not keen on their head coach.
Bonehead decisions by the coach.
Oh, for sure. But when you look at, from a talent standpoint, what they got to offer, a team like the Bills could get lost in the sauce, fall back a peg, and really be like, damn, we missed our chance. We're going to dive into the needs towards the end of the show, but that's a question they got to, I personally, I think they were good enough midway through the season to be that team. But I just think with all the injuries piling up on that side of the ball, defense.
Yeah.
They do need I will say this. They need an injection in that wide receiver room because while I know he has the nickname Big Game Davis, he came up very small yesterday.
Very, very small.
And, outside of Stephon Diggs, who in my opinion is definitely a top 10 receiver, possibly top 5, I don't see them with the depth of a team like a Philly in the receiving room, a team like they lost to yesterday. And I mean, hell, even the Kansas City Chiefs, who lost Tyreek Hill. I consider Travis Kelce a hybrid tight end, almost like a receiver.
Yeah.
And Juju Smith-Schuster did a hell of a job this year over there. So when I look at Big Game Davis, you got your Isaiah McKenzie. For a while, it was Jamison Crowder. You got Shakir. They brought back Cole Beasley off his couch, who I thought did a decent job considering he missed time. He stepped away from the game for a while.
Yeah.
I don't see that legitimate compliment to Stephon Diggs, and they're going to need to figure that out. That's why they were flirting with Odell for a little bit. You know, I shared on a recent show that I think Odell could be primed for a reunion with the Giants, but I would also consider Buffalo may very well want to make Odell their permanent slot solution because they know that he could run the route tree. They know that he brings an element. Because this is a team, like I said, the championship window is closing, and we're going to divulge into the Bills' needs as well as all the losers of this round more. But, you know, what more can you say, man? A big shout out to the Bengals accomplishing something that's very difficult, and the Chiefs have kind of spoiled us, making it look easy. Going to back-to-back title games is no small task.
I touch on 3 things. Thank Joe Burrow for telling Cincinnati to draft Jamar Chase. That's what he told them. Draft this kid.
I lost my train of thought when I was going to say I wanted Penei Sewell because of the knee injury. Right, I wanted Penei Sewell. Continue.
Yeah, I heard you. I was like, it sounded like you was getting ready to say it,
and it slipped me. That's because I'm thinking about his knee. I'm like, oh my God, this poor kid. You got to get the Samoan kid too. That kid's a beast.
That's why I said it first, so I didn't forget it.
And he's doing a great job in Detroit, by the way.
Yeah. Don't forget Duval. They're on the rise now.
Oh yeah.
So that window is like, and as for Buffalo, Cole Beasley did good. I think he would be good with the. I think he should stick around.
I can see that.
A third guy,
see that for
but
sure.
They need somebody to compliment Diggs. They have to have someone to compliment Diggs.
You look around the league, bro. That number 2 guy is so key and vital.
Right, and Buffalo this year. This is why I didn't have them going to the AFC Championship game. I just felt like before the season something just wasn't right. I think it just didn't seem right about them. And they came out the gate right after the game, boom. We're gonna show that we're the number 1 team. Then when they played against Miami, that first game when Tua got hurt, they didn't do particularly well.
Nah, man.
But that's when the injuries started mounting.
They've been winning and dancing through the rain for too long.
Yeah.
And yesterday they met a challenge that they weren't going to be able. You got to play a complete game when you're playing a team like the Bengals.
They're sneak. They are so.
When you're playing a team like the Chiefs as well.
Yeah, the Bengals are so. The Bengals remind me of that one kid. He's not big, but you don't mess with him. Right. He's crazy. Don't mess. There's something about him that you
shout out Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it's something about that little kid. He don't say nothing. He don't do anything, but it's something about him that says, leave him alone.
And there's more analogies here with Tyson because Tyson is a collector of tigers.
Exactly. Bengals.
Yeah. So let me find out. Tyson might be on the Bengals bandwagon now as
well. But that's all I have on Buffalo and the game. Buffalo got things they have to work on.
A lot.
Their window's closing, man.
I tend to agree. Coach McDermott kind of played it down when asked if he thought the championship window was closing, and no head coach would say that, even if it was a concern. I will say this, and I said it yesterday with the Chiefs and why they are still hanging around in this dance. Buffalo asked too much of Josh Allen, similarly to what I felt the Chiefs asked too much of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. The
difference this year with the Bills and why they aren't advancing, people are catching up to what they've been doing. But also, while I do think James Cook is trending upwards in being a guy that could carry the ball 20 times a game and balance out that offense, he's not quite there yet. And Buffalo has had an issue leaning on teams, putting it away in the running game, because it doesn't matter what year it is, doesn't matter how talented your roster is. If you cannot run the ball consistently at this time of the year, you are not going to be able to consistently put teams away. That's why the Philadelphia Eagles are so damn dangerous. And that's also, yes, you saw what they did yesterday, and we're about to hit on that. Oh, man.
You have to run the ball.
Bad Dak. The mental errors, the poor decisions cost Cowboys a third consecutive game with Philly this year. They could have broke the 1-1 tie possibly. Also, Brock Purdy reminding me of the 0-1 Tom Brady. Can he keep it going? We're going to start again with the winners here. San Francisco 49ers, I said it off air, they didn't have a phenomenal game on offense, and that's a credit to Dallas's defense, credit to Dan Quinn. But when you hold the team to less than 20, you should win. So I will say this. I understand that Philly is ranked second in the league. Niners are ranked first in the league defensively. Having said all that, I do think the Niners are going to be able to spread their wings a little more on offense against Philadelphia. I think it's going to be that kind of game. What they really did well yesterday, when you think about some of the poor passes from Dak, this game could have been a wider margin. They dropped some interceptions.
Yeah.
But what separated this game at the end, in addition to better coaching, was the 49ers, I keep saying it, they were able to push the Cowboys around when it mattered most to get those key first downs, keep the clock winding. And I was wrong. I picked Dallas going into this game. I predicted that Purdy would make the mistakes that Dak ended up making. I was very surprised that Dak made the unforced errors, throwing into bad coverage, not looking off guys. It was kind of shocking, to put it bluntly, how poorly Dak played. And I think the 49ers have gained my confidence in the sense that I said leading up to this game, they hadn't beaten an elite defense. When you look at their season opponents, it suggested that. But to do this, to overcome, in my opinion, a phenomenal defense, because that's one thing Dallas has been great, and Dan Quinn's been great. I think Dan Quinn deserves a head coaching job. Just a bad loss all the way around. And, you're going to hear the whispers now with Mike McCarthy, fair or not. This is the second consecutive year losing to the same team where your final seconds of your season came down to some erroneous formations. Last year, clock management, they had an opportunity to punt the ball quickly, probably keep an extra 30 seconds of game clock before the warning. They failed to do that. And yes, you have to call out the coach on some of this crap. Yesterday, we talked about Sean Payton. If I'm Dallas, and like I said, we'll divulge in this towards the end, your defensive coordinator, who has already had head coaching experience, may very well be the guy you might want to consider. Keep it in-house for the promotion if you are going to move on from McCarthy. I don't know what the Dallas Cowboys are going to do, to be honest. But Brock Purdy, man, undefeated as a starter. His first start was against the legendary Tom Brady. And the comparisons are real, bro. When you look at 0-1 and what Tom Brady accomplished, and now you're looking at what Brock Purdy's doing, it is eerily similar.
Shouts out to Brock Purdy. I had him from the start. I should have put, when I told you this guy's going to do it, I should have put money on him in Vegas. I'd be a rich man right now.
Yeah, man. I don't think so many people saw this coming, man. It's pretty remarkable.
I knew he was going to do it. I wish I'd have put money on it. I'd have been the sponsor of the Richie Hicks Jr. podcast.
Yeah, for real, bro. Like, that would have been pretty crazy.
Yeah. He didn't make those mistakes. He got out of danger. I mean, he took a sack or two. I'm gonna talk on Dallas first. The defense did what they can do. You can't ask them to do anything else.
They
You
played
hold
great.
a team to 19 points. You had them kick, I think, 3 field goals. What more do you want?
I think Idris may have froze. I'm gonna give him a second to come back.
There we go.
Yeah, no big. Start that point over, Idris. I think
yeah,
you cut for about 11 seconds or so.
All right. The defense did what they can do. You know, you hold a team to 19 points. They kicked a couple of field goals. They bent, but they didn't break. I mean, yeah, they gave up a lot of good runs at the end, but that's just being tired, man.
I would have to say.
Yeah, you're on the field trying to stop a team who has fire at every position, skill position, running back, receiver, tight end. I mean, after a while, you're like, okay, hold up. We can hold this. We can only hold a levy, but so long.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott threw 2 picks. He had 3 others that should have been picked off.
Oh yeah.
Even that last drive when he almost got obliterated in the end zone, I think I can't think of his name, pulled up on him because he could have really.
They called like the similar rollout
Yeah.
to what the Green Bay Packers do in those kind of situations with Rodgers.
Yeah.
And when I heard the analogy coming from the booth, I couldn't resist. And I said it right in front of my stepdad and my mom, who I ended up watching the game with yesterday.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, but he's not Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
I'm starting to wonder if he's even Roy Rodgers.
Yeah, for real. Fred Rodgers.
Jeez Louise.
But he should have got obliterated, but I think the defender pulled up because of the penalties they throwing on these defenders hitting the quarterback. And that clock management, like you said before the 2-minute warning, they could have stopped they could have had San Francisco run 2 plays before that 2 minutes, but they let 20 seconds run off the clock.
That was
and then when they did run their play, they ran the play and it went past the 2-minute warning. It's a shame you lose to the same team in back-to-back years in the same situation, clock management. And when we had the discussion about Sean Payton and Mike McCarthy, that was my deciding factor. Even though I compared both, Sean Payton knows what to do in those situations. To where
I would have to agree. I really would have to agree. And it would be interesting just to show how things turn around and things are cyclical. Should Sean Payton take the job in Dallas, he would reunite with another member of the Fossil clan because Jim Fossil's son coaches with the Dallas Cowboys, and that's not guaranteed either. Because when coaches come in, they bring in a lot of their own people.
Right.
From an image public relations standpoint, I don't expect the Greg Williams reunion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Dan Quinn is such a good defensive coordinator. I don't think too many people will be looking to replace him. And I'll be honest with you, that would actually be my choice to take over for McCarthy, not Payton. Man. I would bump up Quinn to head coach because I think he's earned that because that is their backbone of that team.
Yeah, and Quinn, even in Atlanta, he had that team playing. They just happened to blow the Super Bowl.
And I blame that more on the offense than the defense.
Yeah. That was on what's that? Shanahan was the OC, right?
Yeah. That was not his finest hour.
Yeah, and Dan Quinn, Greg Williams was a tough guy, but these are the type of coaches that people want to play for because they're like, look at Dable, look at Taylor in Cincinnati. They're like, look,
Peterson in Jacksonville.
You play for me. You work hard for me. We're all going to eat together.
Yes, for sure.
And with Mike McCarthy, it's like he doesn't take any type of accountability. None of this. It's like, we had this and we had that. Rather than saying, look, man, we got to do this. We have to do that. But that's Dan Quinn. Look, this is what we got to do. And we're going to do it. You got to give Dan Quinn the job, man.
Good friend of mine, Thomas Supple. He was point guard in high school. I was 2 years ahead of him. He was the quarterback for the high school football team as well. Diehard 49er fan. He lives on Long Island. We have some great conversations. And we were back and forth late last night on his personal page talking about one particular thing that he brought to me that I didn't think of, but I got to say he nailed it, and I 100% agree with him. He said that karma was slapping Dak in the face, and this is an interesting take, but one that I actually agree with. He said that Dak Prescott dogged his kicker during the 4 missed extra points in a comfortable win against Tampa. And he said, when the country's looking at this, you're dogging your teammate. Then a week later, when Dak is throwing these stupid interceptions, missing his guys, playing like crap, he said, poetically, the kicker should have been dogging on him.
You got a point.
And the bigger point, what Tommy made, and I got to completely agree with him on this, especially being a former high school quarterback that played a little bit of college ball in his case. So he definitely knows the game at a higher level. And he also got to play with the late, great Shane Olivier, rest in peace. God bless you.
Shane, yep.
Awesome person, Shane. What I got to say here is I made the Trevor Lawrence analogy to Tommy, and then we started diving into more quarterbacks. When Trevor Lawrence got defeated, losing the first time ever on a Saturday, he's waiting in the tunnel for each and every teammate to congratulate, to console, to encourage. And that is true leadership. Now, when Dak is dogging out your kicker, when he already feels like garbage, where can we identify that as leadership? Now, Lawrence is the younger guy. Danny Dimes got his ass kicked for 3 consecutive seasons with piss-poor offensive lines. And my friend Tommy said this as well. He said, did you ever see Danny Dimes dogging on his O-line? No. You know, you win together, you lose together, you eat together, you starve together. And this is something that my friend brought to my attention, but after giving it an honest evaluation, I said, damn, that's a great point. I know Zappy said a loss here, a piss-poor performance here. Dak could be entering his final year as a Cowboy into next season. And I must admit, I could see that happening. And that leads us into what this week's divisional losing teams need moving forward. Oddly enough, the team that was most likely to get in out of these 4, that would be the Jaguars, of course. I think that their trajectory is actually, they need the least fine-tuning. Of course, if they could score a guy like a D-Hop in the offseason, because people remember you're getting Calvin Ridley. That would be a devastating 1-2, not to mention the talent that they already have on that squad. They're just going to continue to get better. That's my opinion anyway. New York Giants, we kind of discussed this quite a bit. I'll try to make it easy. You need a veteran receiver, and you need to draft somebody at 25. You need a guard, and you better get some athletic linebacker play. We kind of touched on the Bills. I think you need a proven veteran. That's why Odell makes so much sense for the Bills. He also makes sense for the Cowboys if they want to have that discussion again. But the Cowboys, in addition to needing a more reliable number 3 receiver, after yesterday and after some of the points that I made, Dak Prescott got to be on thin ice. How do you feel about these 4 teams? Anything differently you see?
Not much. The Jaguars, you nailed it. I think a good veteran receiver. Because that team is they're ready to win, man.
D-Hop would be devastating with Ridley, and Ingram make his life easier too.
Yeah, and they get bringing Ridley back. They just need a veteran receiver.
Oh man.
Someone who knows the field, knows everything. Even a guy who can talk to Lawrence, but hey, so I think the Jaguars need the least. The Giants, everything you said is what we need.
And maybe a little more than what I said, because this was a patchwork roster situation with the Giants. Credit to all 3 of the main coaches, Kafka, Dabes, Wink. But, some people might say, we need a center too. Maybe you move Gates back. We figure that out. Some people feel cornerback depth is important. I'm not tripping over that because of I said it yesterday. I thought Moreau did a really nice job when he wasn't even the second guy on the depth chart coming in.
Right.
But talent, man. It's all about talent. Sometimes you don't necessarily take a team need in a draft. You take BPA, best player available.
But I think I'm with you on all that. I think a corner, if we can get one late, Yeah, but Moreau came up on because at one point I was like, yeah, who is this guy? What is he doing?
Yeah, I was very pleased.
Yeah, the Bills, everything you said with the Cowboys, I seen their unrestricted free agent list coming up for the season. They're losing a lot of people. They're losing Schultz. They're losing T.Y. Hill. They have a lot of people leaving, and they're gonna need a number one because CD stepped up, had his best season, but he's not physical. He's fast. He get the ball. He can run, but he's not physical. And you need somebody like a Dez Bryant, that type of receiver who's going to push you around.
A prime Dez, indeed. D-Hop could make sense for the Cowboys too if they make the numbers.
And he's from Texas, so
that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. Should D-Hop go there? D-Hop and Duval, D-Hop and Big D, both those make sense.
Duval.
Well, I would prefer him in Duval just because I don't want him in our division.
Exactly.
Best wishes to Tony Pollard, by the way. Broke his leg yesterday.
Yeah.
Don't wish that on anyone, no matter who we root for. So I hope he has a quick recovery.
I had thought that was a real bad ankle sprain or something, but wow.
So did I. That was the initial prognosis. He actually broke his leg, and that sucks.
Yeah. As for Dak, I think this upcoming season, if he doesn't do anything, I think it's. I mean, you got to move on, man. I mean, because he's doing what Romo did, and I still say Romo was a better quarterback.
Indeed,
I say that Romo's a better quarterback. He throws those picks, and they're bad picks.
Careless, not something you expect out of a 7-year veteran.
Right, 7 years, right, and touching on what you spoke about, the leadership, even in his press releases, press conferences, it's like, yeah, I think I got to do better. Da, da, da. No, it's no think I got to do. You've been saying that for 2 years. I think I got to do better. Da, 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 da. And how he bashed on the kicker. And like your friend said, it was sweet poetic justice with him playing so poorly yesterday and the kicker nailed two kicks. I mean, the first one, extra point got blocked, but that,
it may have won and it may have not. Whether it did or didn't, as a leader, you can't kick your fragile-minded kicker when he's down because he's a guy you might need.
And and I look at how Dave will handle Daniel Jones early.
Yes, sir.
He's like, hey, get it together. Boom, 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 boom. After that, good job.
Right.
And how Sterling Shepard on the sideline. Let's go, y'all.
Right.
And even when Darius Slayton dropped that pass last week,
they didn't dog him. They uplifted him.
Don't worry about it. We good. And everybody like, yo, come in, man.
Defense is like, we're gonna win this thing for you.
Yeah, you have to. You can't dog your man. I mean, you might feel inside, come on, man, you blowing it, but you can be like, yo, come in, let's go.
I'm gonna give you another example of good leadership.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Stephon Diggs got in Josh Allen's ass. Now, these two are very good friends. They are very close off the field. They are boys. And, friends fight sometimes and have heated arguments. But you know what Josh Allen did to his credit? Mm-hmm. He said he's a competitor. Yeah. He just wants a ball. He just wants to win. Right. So you're protecting a media storm that could affect your teammate.
Right.
You're protecting a media storm that could suggest that you guys don't get along as well as you do behind closed doors. We saw what the media did to Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Really and I think it showed maturity on Josh Allen's part. But once again, this speaks to the main theme that my friend Tommy was getting at. Mm-hmm. That's not the sign of a true leader. And it is cold karma that just a week removed, he's the reason they lose. And oddly enough, even though your kicker had a historically crappy game, he didn't cost you the game.
Didn't cost you the game.
So I think the biggest takeaway from that game to wrap it up with Dallas is I just saw a team that on offense didn't look like they truly believed in themselves. Mm-hmm. And that the biggest play of the game was when Dak got rocked and his man was untouched. It was a miscommunication on the edge block that they just nobody accounted for him.
Yeah.
And I believe that made it 2nd and 14, 2nd and 15. And I think that particular play, there were other ones before the half, that stupid interception. But that play really, in my opinion, was the first dagger that threw him down. But the Dallas Cowboys,
man. I mean,
yeah, man, yeah, like I can't believe that he came up with that. Wasn't a bad throw, but it wasn't an easy catch. You know what I'm saying?
Could have knocked him out.
Well, Diggs missed him by a matter of milliseconds.
He missed him.
But I'll tell you what, I'm not sure if Diggs, hits him. If that goes Diggs' way, Kittle's a big boy.
Yeah, I mean, he might have dislodged the ball. Yeah, but Diggs might have got hurt.
Random fact that came up to my brain during the fourth quarter of this Cowboys defeat.
Yeah.
On Saturday, the Kelsey brothers both advanced.
Wow.
And of course, they have a very cool podcast.
Mm-hmm. They are funny guys, man.
Yeah, they're cool. The Diggs brothers, both lost yesterday.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there that first of all, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, but I do want to check this for fact. I don't recall a situation ever where two brothers played against each other in the Super Bowl. Coaching, yes, the Harbaugh brothers did that.
Yeah.
I do not recall a situation ever where two brothers were on opposite sidelines. Unfortunately, Sterling Sharp was injured.
Yeah.
I feel that he would have ultimately ran into his brother Shannon. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Shout out Shannon Sharp for not taking no damn crap on.
Wow.
But
he looked like he was ready to put them hands on.
My thing is this. Listen, I'm not condoning violence. I'm not condoning any of that. But what I am saying is that if you're going to talk that, you better walk that. And I'm sorry, bro. I could think of a lot of guys that I would weigh myself and throw in hands with. One of the last human beings on planet Earth that I would want to throw hands with is Shannon Sharp.
And Sharp.
This is a man that I genuinely respect. But this is a guy that I feel there's a lot of pressure. You deal with that asshole Skip on a day-to-day basis. Ooh. You got Club Shay Shay.
Yeah.
And, you're trying to the best of your ability to calm down. Because even my brother said it yesterday, that the disrespect that Skip showed Shannon was just so deplorable.
That was disrespectful. It
was disgusting. You don't do that to somebody who you say is your friend.
Right.
You don't rip down a friend and say that what he does passionately for a living in his former career, you don't diss somebody, especially a Hall of Fame somebody with a gold jacket. Oh, he's better than you. You don't do that. That'd be like if, okay, just to put it out there, that'd be like if I'm interviewing, say, your uncle, just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Oh, but this tight end was better than you. You don't do shit like that. You don't show that disrespect. That is just so unnecessary. But anyway, getting back to Shannon with that situation, I just think that Shannon's been showing a lot of restraint.
Yeah.
And, I think the heat in the moment gets the best of all of us, and I think that's what happened there.
Yeah.
Point blank, sweet, short. That's what I see with that. We got to look ahead to conference championship weekend. The 49ers heading to the Eagles, the 1 and the 2. And we got the 3 and the 1 facing off in the AFC, a rematch of last year's title game. I'm going to start with the AFC. Patrick Mahomes accomplishing something, along with head coach Andy Reid, that hasn't been done since Kenny Stabler and the late, great John Madden, which is go to 5 consecutive title games. Obviously, the New England Patriots did this with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick 8 times. So Mahomes is tied for second, along with his head coach Reid, for the most appearances consecutively. That's damn impressive. A Chiefs win, along with another Super Bowl, would put them in that dynasty category.
Yep.
And, I think the keys to victory for both teams, and we're going to give out picks and things of that nature in shows to come, Bengals got to continue to have that balance. They have to continue to have the balance of being able to run the ball and let Joe Burrow do what he does best, which is just throw dimes to everyone. In Patrick Mahomes' case, this is a serious injury that he had, and it's an evaluation that the Chiefs have to be honest with themselves about, because you don't want Mahomes being vulnerable where he could further injure that. And this is your franchise. This is your everything. On a talent basis, if I'm basing it just on rosters alone, the Bengals have the more talented team. But I will say this, the Chiefs' defense has quietly been stepping up, and I do believe that not having the lineman situation going well for the Bengals might show its head in this game more than it might have in last game, because I think the Chiefs are in a better position right now, health-wise, to challenge Burrow more than the Bills were.
I agree.
That's what I got. And like I said, we're going to hit on these a little more deeper on future shows. What are your keys here? You think how would you evaluate this?
I'm with you on the Mahomes and Henny thing. I think you start Henny and see how Mahomes, see how it goes, see how the flow goes. Because if Mahomes starts, they're gonna come get him. They're gonna test that ankle.
They're gonna try.
Yeah, let's see what he got. And if they see that he has a glitch, any type of glitch in his ankle, they're gonna say, okay, he can't move. Let's go get this guy. Let's make him run. Let's make them run. Because we're not gonna give him enough time to throw the ball. The Bengals, they're gonna do what Bengals do, man. The D-line's coming to get you, and they're gonna run the ball, and they're gonna have a lot of heavy chase. That's it on them, man.
Like
it's a test match with those two teams, man.
It really is. You got two excellent coaches.
Yeah.
You got, in my opinion, right now, the two best quarterbacks in the entire NFL going head to head.
I agree. 100%.
I think Burrow has arrived in that no worse than number two. It's hard for me to put anybody above Mahomes. But it really is.
The thing about Burrow is people forgot that he basically missed his rookie season.
He sure did. He only played half of it.
Yeah, then he came back his second full season, went to a Super Bowl. Now, this is his second season playing full season. This is his third season, but his second full season, and he's right back.
And proved me wrong, because my biggest concern, and we said it earlier on the show, I wanted that kid Penei Sewell out of Oregon because I felt that he would have protected Burrow.
Yeah.
But I think the Bengals saw something bigger, and Joe Burrow co-signed it that he wanted to play with his guy from LSU, Chase, and it's been proven to be the deal. And oddly enough,
at home too.
This is a guy, that compared to other guys, I think has defied the odds in terms of always making it happen and playing at the same level, no matter who's in front of him on the offensive line. I think it says a lot about his release. I think it says a lot about his demeanor. I think it says a lot about everything that makes him great. And when you're only in year 3, on only really playing 2 of those years.
Yeah, 2.5.
You track the history of quarterbacks in this league, and you'd be hard pressed to find pretty much anyone not named Dan Marino this far along this early.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And his toughness, people forget he used to be a defensive back. Converted to quarterback. So the toughness is right here. You're not going to rattle this.
Yeah.
You're not going to he's going to try to beat you mentally and physically. And if you go back in history of football, and how many quarterbacks have come right out of college and basically in their first 2 full seasons got their teams to the AFC Championship game.
Tom Brady comes to mind year 2, because year 1 he only threw 4 passes.
Right.
But even with Tom Brady, it wasn't as noticeable because Burrow is the best player on his team.
Exactly.
Tom Brady was not the best player on his team in year 2.
No.
I could tell you who might have been. It might have been Willie McGinnis. It might have been Teddy Bruschi. It might have been the guy he replaced, Drew Bledsoe. It was not Tom Brady yet. He was a game manager, and then he became great.
Yeah, they had his first full season, Burrow didn't have, like I said, he didn't have an O-line.
No,
he
sir.
had a rookie receiver. Brady had a team. That team was built to win when he got.
They were close. I mean, Belichick struggled.
They were close. The defense was there.
Belichick struggled year 1 with Bledsoe. And Belichick's not afraid to shake it up, because people forget, if you track Belichick back to his Cleveland days, he is not afraid to get rid of the franchise guy that he didn't have anything to do with. And he did that with Bernie Kosar in favor of Vinny Testaverde. A lot of people forget that. Now, granted, in the Bledsoe situation, it wasn't quite the same.
Yeah,
it makes you wonder sometimes because, they went 5-11 with Bledsoe the year prior.
Mm-hmm.
Parcells set this team up for success.
Yeah.
They took a little bit of a step back with Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
He was the in-between coach before Bill Belichick made it out to New England.
He kept a good defense out there, though. He just
couldn't. Yeah. And to your point, that's the thing we're getting at is that they were not far from being a championship caliber team, or at least one that was going to be in the playoffs, so. But yeah, Burrow, like I said, I made the Marino analogy because I feel that nobody in the history of the sport, you got to really dig, has had this kind of impact and undeniably is the best player on offense. Because even Joe Montana, he didn't have Jerry Rice yet.
Right.
But what he did have was great defenses.
He did.
But you can't say it was Montana out the gate. The reason I give Marino all that is because by year 2, he was putting up numbers that people in today's game do.
And the thing with Marino, he was replacing David Woodley.
Right.
They put him in there as a replacement, and he just kept the job. He just showed out. Kept the job.
Similar to Brett Favre when he replaced the Magic Man. As far as the NFC, man, it's early in the week, but I gotta feel good about the Eagles holding serve at home, and the main reason is I believe that the Niners just have to be better on offense. I mean, they were good enough to beat the Cowboys, but at the end of the day, you were still held to under 20 points, and you're not getting really a necessary relief against the Eagles. But I do believe that this is a completely different game, completely different opponent. Both another challenge on defense, and even though the rankings don't suggest it, I do believe to a level that the Cowboys are a better defense than the Eagles. But I also believe that because of Dallas's challenges on offense, sometimes that has affected the defense where Philly is a complete team, all the way through. I expect a classic.
Yeah. But
I do believe that on the road in Philly, it's going to be hard for me to trust Brock Purdy. And it's getting to that point now where it's like, bro, is this Cinderella story going to continue? Is he going to finally lose a game? This is like the greatest start ever.
Mr. Irrelevant, man. I think with Philly's defense compared to Dallas was real fast on the edge. DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, off the edge, they were just so quick. I think they got Philly beating that. Philly is stronger on the edges. Philly's speed is on the back end with Bradbury and Slay.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's I think the 49ers will be able to run. I really do. I think they'll be able to run the ball on the edges because of the speed they had with McCaffrey and even sometimes Debo.
Yeah.
I think the issue is going to come throwing the ball against Bradbury and Slay.
They're going to have to soften them up. I think a key in this game to victory for the 49ers is that they're going to have to find the mismatches for Kittle to have a similar game to what Kelsey did on Saturday against Jacksonville. You're going to need your tight end to be big in this one. I will say this, and it's been proven over the course of the season. If you're going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, in addition to taking care of the football, you need to win the time of possession battle.
Yeah.
And I do believe the 49ers play the brand of football where that could be a possibility because it's going to come down to the simplicities of which line's going to win. Is it going to be the defense of the Niners? Is it going to be the offensive line of Philly? Philly, their O-line doesn't get enough credit, even though people know how good they are.
They are so physical.
They are, and they make it look rather easy. But it's not going to be easy this week. I look for Nick Bosa to have quite the game, and like anything else, you have to force Philly to throw the ball more than their game script suggests to them. Because I don't think they want to get Hurts hit like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Frisco's speed on defense, their defensive line against the Phillies. Philadelphia's offensive strength line.
Yeah.
The line is strong, and on the flip side is the same way around. Philly is strength. They're just flat out strength.
Yeah.
Where Frisco's more finesse, speed and finesse.
It's gonna be good, man. This is gonna be something special. It's gonna be a hell of a game. You got two excellent coaches. The 49ers, one thing that they've proven to me going back to last year, and this is remarkable, and this is where credit needs to be given. You were in an NFC title game last year as a 6 seed with a completely different quarterback.
Right.
This year, you had a guy that was going to replace the guy last year. He got hurt. Then you bring the guy from last year back into the fold. He got hurt. And now you got Mr. Irrelevant 1 game away from the friggin' Super Bowl who hasn't lost a game yet in his career. I mean, talk about stepping in some good shit.
That's the storytelling right there, man.
That is, man. And, this is a team that has been blessed with always finding the quarterbacks. You had Montana, you had Young, you had Garcia.
But you know what's so funny about these playoffs? Mr. Irrelevant was the starting quarterback for a team.
Yeah.
The quarterback right before Mr. Irrelevant started the game in the playoffs for Miami.
That's correct. Skylar Thompson.
That's insane, man.
It is insane. And it just goes to show you that every pick really counts.
Every pick counts.
I mean, look at Tom Brady. You talk about, Antonio Brown was also taken super late.
Right.
So this has been proven that no matter what team you are and no matter where you're picking, there is always talent and a diamond in the rough to be found if you really do your homework. And let's be real, if you also get lucky, because people could say whatever they want about New England taking Tom Brady, but the reality is they passed on him 5 times.
Right. Exactly.
He said, "Oh, word, you're going to pass on me 5 times? Well, I'm going to give you 6 rings."
One of the greatest quarterback, if not the greatest quarterback in NFL.
Yeah, no doubt. And I have no issue saying that. Great show today.
Yeah.
We'll be back midweek. Zappy will be joining us to give our takes on who's going to win these games. Also, just to give you a little laugh, we got a couple of minutes. So Brett is talking about
that already gave me a laugh, but go ahead.
Brett's talking about that he wants to start a petition campaign to get back on. He's talking about taking to IG. He's already putting hashtags together. The people want the Polska. I had spoken to him yesterday, and I told him, I said, we might be able to bring you back, but I said, honestly, it's probably not going to be until the baseball preview. So he was like getting all itchy and fired up. He's like, "Oh, I got to wait that long." And, this is like, it's getting to the point where this is like a legitimate suspension.
The great
but the reality is that I told Brett, I was like, "Okay, you want back on the show?" I said, "Take it to IG, make this a thing.
Yeah,
and let's see if the people want you back."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because this is gonna be fun, man. Bretsky made it clear, but it was funny, right? So
I love Brett, man.
You'll get a charge out of this. You'll get a charge out of this. So I'm like, yeah, man, that's a great idea. You should start putting up the IG petition campaign.
Yeah.
You don't tell me what to do. You're not my boss anymore. I'm like, bro, you want to get back on the show, so you suggested that you want me to be your boss again, and then I'm telling you what to do, and you're like, hey, you want my boss?
Gotta love the great Bretsky, boy.
Bretsky's one of a kind. I got to give him that. Bretsky's one of a kind. But it's funny, man, because like when he said that yesterday, and I told my moms about this, she was dying laughing.
It's killing me because he's trying to get a petition to get back on the show.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, it's a good idea. You should do this. Don't tell me what to do. I don't work for you anymore.
Yeah, it's like, and if we were talking about anybody else, it wouldn't make sense. We were talking about Brett, but I look forward to some of these IG videos. So, Brett, I know you're going to be watching probably on your ride into work today. It's time to start getting busy on IG. And to spare you, I'm going to give you a little advice. Do not tag Richard Dorney in any of these videos because he's going to come at you, bro.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it, man, because Dorney renamed his team Dorney finished last in the regular season for fantasy football.
Oh man.
But they had a consolation bracket.
Oh, okay.
So he got hot in the consolation. So Brett actually got knocked into 12 at the end of the year.
Oh man.
And he switched his team name to Brettski's on the bottom. Dorney did that. His original team name was Dables. Did it. Yeah. His original team name was Dable's Not My Dad because he looks just like Brian Dable.
Oh man.
Yeah, but those two always have this epic pettiness back and forth, which I think is really fun. Dorney might be joining us once baseball comes back around. He's a big baseball head, huge New York Mets fan.
Oh yeah, we gotta bring him on.
His saving grace is, he's a fan of the Knicks, the Giants.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying. He roots for my teams, even in college. He's an Irish fan, but no, the Dorney and Brett feud, especially now with Brett trying to get on this petition campaign. You know what's going to be funny? And I think this would be excellent.
Oh, man.
I think if Brett really wants to start, trying to get back into the graces of the people, he might want to take it to casual convo because nobody suspended him there.
Right. More promotion, too, for the show.
Bro, yeah, right. But do you know how funny that would be?
You know what? I'm gonna get him on there.
Brett starts showing up on all these different podcasts.
Don't forget to talk about the Richie Hicks Jr. podcast. Let them know how you got fired from the show.
The second man to get fired. I was gonna mess around and quote, because Brett loves quoting Rocky movies.
Oh man!
And I was gonna have Wags like FaceTime him and be like, "Yo, Rock, I dig your locker." Like when Dipper Brown stole Rocky's locker.
Yeah,
remember that? Rocky opened up the locker and he's like looking at pictures from like the Commodores. He's like, "Whoa, what happened to my locker?" Oh, we had a good laugh here at the end. Shout out Brett. We'll see, but like I said, Brett, you got to get on IG, man. We got to see how this plays out for you.
You still my dude, Brett. You crazy,
Yeah, you're at the mercy. You're at the mercy of the viewers right now. We're gonna see what the masses think of Brett.
Yeah, Brett, and see if you can get us an O'Doul sponsorship too.
Yeah, for real, for real. O'Doul's.
What's the other drink? With the M.
I don't know, but what I do know, what I do know is that, man, I'm like Brett. You brought this guy on. 49ers playing the Cowboys. Where's William Floyd, bro? Come on, Brett.
Yeah. What happened?
I don't know, man. Maybe he fired Brett too. I don't know, man. This could be spiraling out of control.
That's what it's Modelo. That's the other one I was saying.
This could be the spiraling out of control, man. We're gonna see where this leads to Brett. But to be fair, I think we've wasted too much time talking about this guy. He's no longer a member of the show for now.
Right.
Yeah, when I told him the baseball preview, he was like, "Oh man, I'm on timeout." He wants on the Super Bowl show. I know he does.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, don't tell me what to do. Yeah, after, like I said, just following instructions. This has become a thing. He might end up like Hank the Angry Dwarf from Howard Stern. So he might just start showing up. Keep coming. Just keep showing up.
Oh man.
All right,
man.
Until next time, before I get sued, my name is Richie. He's Idris. Thank you for watching, and we will be back soon with our championship game previews and predictions with our guy Zappy. He, I am sure, is in mourning today following that Cowboys defeat. We are out.